What's good, people? Welcome back to another Quality Over Quarantine. We are still locked down, but we're trying to give you some good content to let you to help you get through these hard times. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. Also, please leave comments as well. All of that stuff really does help. We hit 1,000 subscribers yesterday. So this week, like I said, I'm dropping interviews every weekday, at least for the next 3 weeks, or at least for the next 2 weeks. So let me know who you want me to speak to and who you want me to interview. This interview is a very personal one for me, and it's one that a lot of you have. I get messages all the time, like, "Yo, I remember the FTP mixtapes and stuff. Like, where's Answer, man? Where's Answer?" So for all you people who've been asking me where Answer is, here's Answer.
Here he is, live from the Bahamas. No, joke. North London.
Hey, we'll get there too as well, man. We'll get there too. Like I said, yeah, it's funny. Yes, I obviously like to put this together. I had to find a photo of you, and so I literally had to go through like years of your Facebook pictures, and I just realized, man, I just haven't been living. Like I just been in these studios, in these dark rooms, spitting bars. Yeah, every picture of you is on a boat, champagne in one hand, wine in the other, like sun shining. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
Well,
wrong,
don't be fooled by social media. It's not always like that.
Only on camera. He lies. So lies. How you been though, man?
Yeah, I've been good. What, like in the last 20 years, or just in the last few weeks?
How you been in the last few weeks? How you been surviving lockdown and all that?
Yeah, so I'll talk about it later. But I run a bar now. I own a bar in North London with my sister and one of my friends. And since lockdowns happened, we've just been trying to like adapt to a new environment. So built like an online store using Shopify. We specialize in like organic and natural wine. So just been trying to sell that firstly to our customers, and then we're sort of broadening out. We're doing like nationwide delivery and everything. So it's actually been quite fun. I've been like out a lot doing deliveries and like receiving stock, putting it online. I've kind of been enjoying it, which you're not really meant to say, but
this is so funny, yeah, because there's like a really strong community of people who are really enjoying this lockdown. So the more people I talk to, they're like, nah, do you know what? I'm really actually enjoying this. So I know I shouldn't be, but I really actually am. And I'm also one of them people. I'm just like, I like being at home anyway. There's a few things I'm missing, like going to the shop and stuff. But apart from that, I'm just
going to the shop. You can still do that.
Nah, man, I ain't trying to be mixing with all the zombies in it. So I'm just like, I don't really want to be around like that. So I've just been staying at home, man. I've been getting do click and collect and whatever. But for me, yeah, like my normal day is like, I'll be working from home or wherever I'm working from, and at the end of the day, I'll go in, like, lunch will be like fast food or something, but then I'll go to Tesco's and just browse. That's my alone time, man. Can't even do that anymore. So that's all I'm really missing. But is there anything that you've been missing that you wish you could do that you can't do?
Yeah. Like, firstly, being able to travel. I've had to like cancel 3 trips already in this like quite short time. And I think like people, I love hanging out with friends, eating with friends, drinking with friends. That's the bit that I think I'm really missing the most. Yeah.
So you're kind of like a extrovert in that way, or not an extrovert, but you're a go out person. I'm a stay in person. I'm the person who's like, someone be like, yeah man, let's go out. I'll be like, yeah cool, yeah definitely, I'm there. And on the day I'll be like, oh, you know what man, something came up. Like, oh yeah, nah, I'll catch you on the next one still. And I'm never going out, so that's the kind of difference. So let's.
I think it's sort of taught me that being in is actually sometimes a better option, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, you sit and you think, oh, it's actually quite nice. So I sort of get where you're coming from now.
But now I'm like, man, I wish someone would invite me out. Like next time someone invites me out, I'm definitely going. Like I'm actually screaming because the last thing I was supposed to go to that I didn't go to. And it was like when lockdown was about to happen, but hadn't happened yet. I was supposed to go to the example show.
Wow.
And then
see, there has been good things to come out of this.
Oh, you're a hater. so
joking.
So Corinne was ill that day, innit? So I was like, okay, so I kind of got an excuse not to go anyway, but I don't really want to be in a room with that many people as either. But so I was like, yeah, sorry, bro, I can't even make it. And then now I'm just thinking, this whole time I just been thinking, man, I wish I went to that show. I wish I just did it. Like, I wish I went out more.
It wouldn't be bad though. The last ever show you saw, for example.
You're an actual hater. Big up example. We're gonna get him on there soon. Yeah, man. So, all right, let's kind of do a rewind. Yeah. It's actually funny today. So today I was looking at a post that I had done in 2013, talking about the 10-year anniversary for FTP.
Oh yeah, I was just reading that the other day actually.
Yeah, like, and it was kind of nuts, and I was like, right, that was a really long time ago. And so we're now at what 17 years from that, and we were doing stuff way before that. So I'll let you tell it. Like, when did you? Well, how did we even hook up? Like, how did that even work?
So I think I can't remember the year exactly. I think maybe 2001.
Yep.
I was 18 and I got a job working in Virgin Megastore in Watford.
Blap.
Which was actually given Store of the Year that year when me and them both working there. Not a coincidence. Of
course not.
And
it went because of me, that's for sure.
It didn't actually last much longer, right? It was good while it lasted. And so I was 18. I just finished school. It was before I went to university. I like growing up, just obsessed with hip hop, but in like quite a like white middle class area. So I was sort of desperate to sort of explore the world of hip hop more, and like moving slightly closer to London was like the first step of that. So getting to like not be around my leafy environment all the time. I was like in the middle of Watford, being around music all the time. Obviously it wasn't just hip hop, it was like a big Virgin Megastore, but there you met other people that were like into music as well. Where I grew up, no one else was into hip hop, so I was sort of like starved of it. So when I started being around other music lovers, it was so like amazing to hear like, oh wow, you like Public Enemy, wow, you like Gangstar, and then oh wow, you like Black Twang. Like, so you get like deeper and deeper into it and find people that were like, you know, on the same wavelength as you, or could introduce you to other artists, teach you stuff you didn't know, and you could do the same for them. And I think like that's where me and you first sort of connected. Yeah. We were both like talking about hip hop a lot. We were obsessed with it. Like every time a new album would come in, we sometimes, I think I get this right, we'd be able to take it home like the weekend before the release, wouldn't we?
Sometimes, because they're coming early a lot of times.
Yeah. So I can't remember exactly what was coming out around then, 2001. It was after Dre and all that. But like every time there was a new release, me and Jen would be like, oh wow, this is amazing, yeah. I'll take it home, we're going to listen to it. And then I think you held it back for a bit, but after a while you were a bit like, oh yeah, I'm actually a rapper. And I was like, oh shit, I'm actually a DJ. And I'd been doing mixtapes at school for like, you know, not really many people even listen to hip hop, but it was a way to introduce people to it. Go, yeah, like this is basically what I listen to in my bedroom at home, guys. Yeah. Buy a cassette off me for $5. It's got like all my latest favorite songs on it. So I was like, started sharing those with you, and we were like, shit, we should like combine on this. So you started hosting them, I think initially without any of your tunes on, maybe.
I don't think there's any tunes on the first ones.
Yeah. And then the next one came out, and you would like do a little intro on it. And then there was one with like 3 freestyles. I'm literally just like the old sense of the word freestyle. And then we started putting your tracks on them. And that sort of led up to like the end of the year, I think. Have I missed anything out so far?
No. I think that's what I'm remembering.
Then we started like trying to be sort of like take it to the next level of like let's just keep it all UK hip hop now. Yeah.
Because we were still putting like American artists in. Yeah.
But it was a good way of like sort of trying to make people realise like there's a lot of good English tunes out there. Yeah. Because we put them alongside American tunes, and they'd be like they'd stand up to them. Yeah. Just as well. So like it was a good way of making people realise like this is a serious thing. It's not just like a little joke. But then we were like, no, let's like really drive home now that we believe in like this English hip hop. So we started making it all English hip hop, trying to get as many exclusives as possible. I remember one moment, and this is like sticks in my mind. Me and Jem were on our lunch break, and we were sat in McDonald's across the road, and my phone rang. I picked it up, and I'm like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "Oh, this is Rodney P." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Yeah, I'm in Mr. Bongo's. They had your mixtape, but they sold the last one, and I want to know why I haven't got one." I was like, "Okay." Can we highlight right there? So we just started immersing ourselves in the scene a lot more. We'd be in central London all the time. We were going to Kung Fu every single time it was on, the old night in Camden.
Yeah.
Started going to like every show we could, basically. And then we started selling our mixtapes there. We started selling them all over the country. We were sending them out to every little record store we could find in Brighton, Leeds, Manchester, wherever. We'd take them on the road with us. We were selling them at shows. And it was an exciting time. People were kind of starved of UK hip hop. You couldn't get it anywhere. You couldn't just like go on LimeWire or whatever and download music because it just wasn't there. And you especially couldn't get it on CD because all the stores were selling like the vinyl singles. But a lot of people didn't have vinyl players, and a lot of people don't have the money to be spending like £5, £6 on a vinyl. So it was such a good way, I think, of like sort of showing a summary of the scene and allowing people to go off and explore the other bits that they really liked. And
Did you ever realise that? So when we were doing it, I guess it was kind of like it was kind of a big deal. But I guess the further we go down, it becomes a bigger deal. But and it had like quite a big impact on those who were kind of in that scene at the time. But I don't really think at the time, definitely didn't realize that how big it was going to be, or even what we were doing. Like I know we had like big people on them and stuff, and we had some big features, and I was really just using it as a way like just to get into the game, and it worked perfectly for that. But at the same time, I don't think we actually realized, do you know what, this could actually really be something kind of historic.
Yeah, I think things like this are really difficult to look back on because you look back on it and you think, oh my God, we should have done this. Like we had that platform to go and do it. But I was like 18, 19 years old. You were slightly older. Yeah. But like we just didn't have that knowledge of like what we should be doing. We were trying our hardest at the things we were trying. But until you look back on something, you don't really see like where the other opportunities were or what you should have done, and like you do look back on it and think, why did we stop, or why did it not carry on? But then like there's a whole lot of industry that starts to wear you down as well, and like, I don't think we should like beat ourselves up on it, but at the same time, like we probably should have done more.
Because it's one of the maddest things. I remember like selling a CD, or I think either you told me or someone told me someone bought a bootleg version of our CD in Cambodia.
Oh yeah.
I remember just being like, what? Like people are really like that. It's getting that far. It's way bigger than us. And having so today, obviously, I kind of went back and looked at FTP, and I forgot loads of stuff. I'm like, oh raw. I did an interview with Tommy Evans last night, but I did an interview with him on a C as well. Like I didn't even realize we did that, and to this day, no one else has done it in the way that we did it. There was a lot of kind of like innovation in what we did in hip hop, as far as like the dub plates, the exclusives, some of the names we had. Like obviously we had Kalashnikov at the time, but we had Sway, and it was just like, yeah, man, it was a big look, man, and I think. That was definitely, if I look at everything I've done in music, in UK hip hop, that was definitely, well, in music full stop, that was definitely the springboard. That was the foundation, because that was the thing that got me into places I couldn't have got before. That was the thing that got me to like meet certain people. And again, man, it's like, because it's been so long. If you think the time I started, we're talking 20 years and stuff. I forget times where we were rolling with them, man. Like we were rolling with Clash quite a lot. We were rolling with Skinny Man, like loads. We were rolling with like Tommy Evans. Like I forgot about so many times, like Tommy Evans staying at my yard and stuff.
So that was sort of the next step of the story, wasn't it? Because when we were doing all Tommy was like recording song like exclusive tracks for the mixtapes and
Mm.
everything. He was like really supporting us, and he then came to us and said, "Oh, I want you to be my tour DJ, and I want Jen to open up the
Yeah.
shows." And we were like, "Wow, yeah, that's amazing."
Crazy.
Like, yeah, and that was sort of the next step there, where
Mm.
he kind of introduced us to a whole new audience because he had his whole sort of fan base, and that felt like such a great moment to like be recognised for what we were
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah.
He had seen like the mixtapes growing and each one was improving, and I think he just thought, yeah, I want them like on my team basically, and yeah, I'm really grateful that he did that because that definitely brought us some good times.
Do you know what one of my favorite moments? Yeah, was I think it was Young Gun's album,
Oh
and
yeah,
in the intro he was mentioning loads of people, and he was like, he said something about answering Genesis, and I was just like, what? Like,
yeah,
that
yeah,
it was
yeah.
crazy at that time, man.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
kind
all
of,
those little things well, they still mean so much. Like all those
yeah,
little moments where someone recognizes that you're like really trying hard and doing something well.
yeah,
By people that we really respected.
mm,
Like Rodney P. He was someone that when I was like 16, 15, I was listening to in my bedroom, and I'd go to see him do a show in Reading or something like that,
yeah,
and suddenly here he is calling up your phone, telling you that he wants your CD, and yeah, they were just all like really supportive of us, and it was never about really like who you were, where you came from, anything like that. People recognised that you were putting in effort and
yeah,
you had a love for what it was, and that's what it all came down to. Like we just loved the music and we
yeah,
really believed in it, and that was like being around people like Amos, Wordsmith, AC, Terra,
mm,
everyone. That it was like everyone was like supporting each other.
yeah.
I think that's like what felt good about it.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely a good time, man. And I remember
Yeah.
having a conversation. I might have said it on the track about now is it's the golden age, it's the golden age. And I remember Tom Weller going, "Do you really believe that?" And I was like, "Yeah, like trust me, people are gonna look back at this time and be like, right, this was something different." And it really was. But I think at the time I just didn't really see my place in it. Like I didn't think
Yeah,
I would be in it as much as I ended up being in it. But yeah, man,
yeah.
we had some proper good times. We did a lot. Yeah, we did a lot of shows. I think back then you were the only driver, so you were driving us everywhere.
Yeah.
In we had the Clio.
Yeah, clear. Yeah.
Hey, that car was hard.
I mean, Amos always claimed he could drive, but I never really witnessed it. So
What did Amos have? What did Amos have, man? Yeah, the
Can't
Tigra
remember.
or something, man.
I don't think I ever agreed to step in it.
Oh man, those were the days, man. I remember we did a show. I don't know if we did a show. This was one of the funniest stories, yeah, to this day that sticks in my mind, yeah. We were going to Camden, and it was a day, and you were like, "Yo, let me borrow some CDs."
We were going to Kung Fu.
Go
We were
Kung
going to
Fu, yeah. So bearing in mind, right, I got all my CDs, yeah, and basically, Answers decided that he wants to borrow my CDs, yeah, but like all my best CDs, like
It was like all the like rarities, and
Yeah,
stuff
like-
that I didn't have.
Killer Priest,
Killer
Heavy
Priest,
Mental, like there was some gems in there. And so we go to the club, we come back, and then we see like the car window broken. Like, well, oh shit, like, what's going on? And then someone had broken into the car. We was at the Sainsbury's car park in Camden. Someone had broken into the car and stolen all my CDs, man. I was just like, damn.
The funny thing about that is you could leave those CDs on top of the car now and no one would take them. That just shows how long it's been.
Trust me, man. Oh man, that was we did have some jokes, man.
Yeah.
I think one of the most memorable times we got to talk about was Glastonbury.
Yeah, definitely.
We got actually, you know what? We got a few stories, man.
Yeah, they're all sort of starting to come back into my head.
All right, guys, tell the people about Glastonbury, man. How was that for you? Because I think it was like both our first times like being there. As well.
Yeah. Being in the festival.
Yeah.
So it's very mixed emotions for me. Because when we arrived, I think I was with maybe Amos KK, I think if I remember.
Oh yeah. Because we got split up.
I arrived with them. And we were in the car park and we got out of the car, and this was like, I can't remember the year. Was it like 2005?
It's either,
Like
either 2005 or 2004, one of them.
Yeah, 2004 maybe. And it was the one where it was like extinction level event weather. And we got out of the car, and there was an actual river running through the car park to get into the festival. You had to cross this river. And I was there in like Air Max trainers. KK was in like some new Timberlands.
Yeah, you had the burgundy Tims to match the burgundy AV.
Yeah. And the people on the gate were like, you just have to take your shoes off and walk through it and put them back on. We were like, what? And so we managed to finally get across this river. Got into the gate. Some guy, like, I'm just looking at this huge, like, sort of like monstrous city. It kind of looks like what you think the future might be when society collapses.
Post-apocalyptic war zone.
Yeah, there was like mud everywhere. And this guy runs up to me, like really happy, being like, "Oh, where are you going? Let me show you the way." He takes one step forward and just slips into this like huge swamp. And I was just like ready to go home now. I was like, I can't believe where I am. So we finally get to the stage and we do the show.
Wait. Nah, you're going too far forward, man.
Oh, maybe I missed it.
Because what had happened is we split up in two groups. So for some reason, I think maybe we were in two cars.
Yeah,
so
we were.
They've gone to our car. You can go like the artist way, right? So we kind of missed out most of the mud. Bearing in mind, the night before, the place had completely flooded, basically covering people's tents. So it was
toilets and sunk. There were sunken.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like so it was really bad. So we're backstage talking to everyone, waiting for you lot to get there. And so as we're standing there, we just see you lot walking towards us, and like I've never seen a look of like defeat in people's eyes. And I just looked down, and everyone's trainers and shoes were just ruined, and you lot just look like nah, like I'm done with this. I am done with this. It was definitely it was a moment. So yeah, so then we finally get on stage, and then go on.
Wait, let me tell this. I remember it so vividly. So like the show went really well. Everyone was loving it. It was kind of amazing. Like in this tent, feeling like fuck, this is Glastonbury. And Jem was coming to the last song, and he literally spat the last word of his song, and all the power just died. Like everything just went off.
Yeah. And
I was like, was that meant to happen? Because it seemed so perfect that it was like on that word. And I look over at the sound guy. Meanwhile, and this is like a middle of the day. This is a middle of the day show because we're not exactly headlining. And I look over to the right, and he's just doing a massive line off the soundboard, massive line of coke, and he just looks up at me with a big grin on his face, and I was like, the sound's gone, and he just went, that was it. But luckily the show was over.
Oh, it was actually nuts, man. It was super nuts. And I remember we finished the show, and we walked towards. I think we were trying to get food or something. There was a time we were trying to get some wellies as well, and you've gone. One of us, I think it was you, man, has walked over to the toilet. Like, I want to go toilet, and you walked over to the toilets, opened the door, and then just just walked away. It was like, no, not doing it. And then laughing, they let us use the toilets.
Well, later on in life, I sort of realised that this is what festivals are, and you just have to embrace it. But at the time, I was very naive.
You know what? I still haven't. I'm not a festival person. All the festivals me and Terry have done in since then, we've been totally the same. Like, nope, we ain't doing that. Terry's even worse because he'll get a hotel outside of the camp, so he ain't going nowhere near anything. But I still can't get used to that kind of stuff. It's just,
no, I can't really imagine you in that.
Not me. Do you remember there was that guy who was afterwards, because all the toilets were gone, yeah? So people were like shitting in the river, and they were holding a guy over the river, and then someone let him go into the river of shit. Like it was so mad. And because I'm a real germaphobe as well. So that whole thing just killed me. And I remember I bought some brand new Air Forces to wear to that show. And before I even got on stage, they were just destroyed. And I literally came back to, we were staying at Rising Sun's yard, didn't it? Was it Rising Sun's yard? I think it was. We're staying with Rising Sun. And
yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Went back to his yard and I just threw him in a bin, man. I was like, all right, they're done. They're done with. That's over. Like, yeah, it's crazy, man. We had we did have a couple of mad shows. I got on the live, who just left a message was Mike Lee, and he's like, I'm here for the stories. You got any more stories that kind of stick out?
There was one time when we were going to record a track with Skinny Man and Noah, and we were driving. I can't remember. We picked Nova up, or we were on our way to meet Mudfam anyway in Finsbury Park. We were driving down Holloway Road, and I'm sure Tom Weller won't mind if we mention his name. I already
told his story, so yeah, tell it again.
But the police started following us, pulled us over just down near Holloway Road, which is literally just near where I live now, and asked us if we had anything on us that we shouldn't. Everyone said no. And one of the policemen was like, "Well, if you don't tell me now, when I find it, the problem's going to be more serious, whatever." So Tom said, "Yeah, I've got some weed on me." So rather than just be like a normal guy about it, the policeman made him do, I think, 20 press ups.
Yeah.
He said, "If you do 20 press ups, we can throw it down the drain." And I think Skinny Man was here at this point.
Nah, he wasn't.
Or was he not?
Nah, because it was on the way.
But I remember him loving the story.
Yeah, because we literally told him when we got back.
Yeah. But yeah, I've got a real good one actually. When we were in Poland.
Oh.
We went to do a show in Poland, and we were with, I can't remember exactly who was there, but I think Wordsmith was there, Amos was there.
KK. No.
AC,
nah, AC wasn't there. It was Big Kizzy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we were doing this show in, and it was like a big crowd actually. It was in this town called Katowice, right in the middle of Poland, and there's a real big crowd, because it was like Polish hip hop versus English hip hop.
Yeah.
A really nice setup, like big sort of arena with a big stage and everything. And before we were on, I watched Amos walking up the steps. And anyone who knows Amos knows he's always got a drink with him. And he was walking up the steps, and it was a plastic cup, like one of those quite flimsy, plastic cups of beer. And this is before our show, which he's obviously doing the support on. And as he came up the last step, he tripped on it, and this is in front of the whole crowd, and face planted into the plastic beer, literally crushed on his face. So he gets up and he's covered in beer, and then has to go out and do a show straight up.
But you know what? There's two other parts of this story as well, yeah. So I think I was backstage, and Amos has come backstage covered in beer, yeah, and he's gone, "Oh, Jay, come here." So I'm thinking, because there was a bit of tension between some of the Polish guys and us. So I thought, it was a little bit weird. So I thought, one of them must have thrown a drink at him or something. But he wasn't. He wasn't kind of in his face. He didn't seem upset. But I was like, what's happened? Why is he covered in beer? And he's like, cover me, man. So I walked out of him. He's like, yeah, man. I just fallen over that step here. The beer just gone right in my face. Everyone's just seen it. He was like, yeah, because the figures as well, yeah. Every time we went from backstage, we were like superstars. Everyone was like, oh god, it's the UK guys. So it was super, yeah. So we kept walking out and kind of flexing a little bit. And he's gone out to flex, and there's a step there, and he's just tripped and he's gone everywhere. That was hilarious. But what wasn't hilarious was so we had this show in Poland, but the night before, we had a show in Denmark.
Oh yeah.
So it was a reggaeton festival.
That sounds just like the kind of thing we used to get booked for.
So me and Answer have gone. We're doing that first, and then we're coming over. So we've done the show, and after the show, we've got back to the hotel. Our flight is in. Basically, we got an hour. We've got an hour's sleep before we need to wake up. No, it wasn't that. We had about 2 hours or two and a half hours sleep until we had to be up to go get a taxi to get to the airport to get our flight. So cool. We've gone to sleep. We've woken up, and luckily there's a big clock out the window. Out the window there's a massive clock, like telling us what the time is. And then we've realised we've overslept, and we now only have 1 hour or hour and a half until we need to be on our flight. And so at the time, I'm just like, nah, man, there's no way we're gonna do it. Answer's mad optimistic. It's like, yeah, nah, we could do it. So I don't know. We somehow just threw all our stuff in a suitcase, got to the airport. We get to the airport. Answer just runs up, does his magic to the Who. I don't know what you said to Who, and they were just like, come. And then somehow we managed to get from the airport onto our flight in an hour and a half, and we actually made our flight, which is absolutely nuts. So I swear, like, nowadays you would never get that, or maybe a different airport. But that was
my mum used to work for an airline, so I probably knew the right thing to say.
Yeah, man, you had like some what you said, and I was just like, because we didn't even. I think we had no carry-on anyway. We had nothing to check in. But it was a nuts one, man. But it was definitely. Yeah, we toured Poland with our one show. But yeah, we definitely had some good shows. So going from after that time, so I'd say
that was like 2005,
yeah,
2006.
Yeah. So I guess when we stopped doing shows really probably around 2007ish.
Yeah.
And then you went on to... Actually, wait, what did you go on to do? What were you doing then?
Well, in 2007, I got a job at Universal Music, which was something I'd always sort of... When I was really young, that's what I always sort of envisioned myself doing, working for like a big label.
Yeah.
It wasn't working specifically with hip-hop, which when I look back on it, that's probably what I should have like focus a bit more on, but it was more in like a business role, so business development, managing relationships with business partners like Google, Amazon, and yeah, we sort of drifted apart in that time, didn't we? I can't remember why we stopped really doing shows, but I think it just stopped being fun for a while.
Yeah, man. I think there was a lot of things going on. I think we just finished. We did the Avid tour.
Yeah, and there was the Industrial Revolution mixtape. When was that?
Yeah, but that was 2006 when that came. But I didn't really tour that. Not that much anyway. And so after that, I really spent my time just selling music. So I was just focused on selling CDs. So as far as doing shows, I just wasn't that into it because I had a choice: either make 200 quid selling CDs or do a show for like 100 quid.
Yeah.
And at the time, it just wasn't.
I think as well, sort of like grime was getting really big, or was really big by then. Yeah. And a lot of people had sort of migrated to it, and hip hop shows were just not very fun anymore. There was like not many girls going to them.
Yeah.
It just became a little bit like insular. Like everyone in the crowd was a rapper.
Yeah.
No one was really there for the fun anymore. It was just a bit. It just became a like sort of, like a weird little group of people that no one really wanted to hang out with. They all just thought they should because they wanted to become a rapper or something.
I think as well, yeah. Like if you think about it, we were when we first started, we were trying to get to this point where we wanted to be in with the Kung Fu crowd, like doing those kind of shows.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they would never let us through that far. So we kind of hit a wall, and it was like, no, you're not really coming into that. And you remember we started doing a night in Watford. Well, we weren't doing a night, but they let us come through and DJ MC at Bar Visa.
Oh yeah.
And so that was kind of like, right, this is gonna be the next step for us. But then we were coming up against gatekeepers, and so what they would do, they would either give us like super early slots or super late. Like they would never give us like the times that we really wanted, or give us the time to shine.
And we weren't, and we had been doing big shows as well all around the country, so we weren't really in a position where we were like, yeah, okay, let's just take some little like warm up show in Watford. You know, like we'd headlined like many nights around the country in all different parts, so we weren't really looking to do that.
Yeah, man, and I think like after that, around that time, we were just more into, we'd gone, like you'd gone into, you were working full time. I was pretty much working full time because I was also at the train station at the same time then as well. I just had like pretty much, Kira was like what 2-3 years old then, so there was so much more responsibilities, and it all kind of just it got to a point because I stopped making music probably 2007 2008, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I had a mixtape that was really ready to go, and then we lost the hard drive, and then that just literally just took it all out of me. I was just like, I can't even do this anymore until I'm in a comfortable position. So then I was gone. I was at the game at that point. So when did you start the bar? Like when did Highbury Library open?
So that came only 4 years ago. Okay. Basically, just to step back a minute, because there was just one thing I wanted to say about the hip hop thing as well. I feel like the reason that I got into UK hip hop and the reason that I wanted to be a DJ for it was because no one else was doing it, and there was like a need for someone to like spread the word on it. But by the time like 2007, that thing had like either people had already got into it or people were rejecting it.
Yeah.
And so I felt like my sort of role in it was over as well. Like I've always been someone that likes to like find something that I love and then share it with other people.
Yeah.
And I felt like I'd sort of done it up to that point. And that's why like maybe it was even subconscious at the time. Like I wasn't really like consciously thinking about this stuff, but maybe that's why I thought, right, let's take this step and do this thing at Universal. And I was there for a long time. I was at Universal for 9 years, which was pretty crazy. Started there as a West experience. And I just thought, yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be like, you're going to be surrounded by music lovers again. And that's like the thing that I always want to be around, like people that have similar passions to me. But then like you quickly realize that major labels don't really work by loving music, which probably seems quite obvious saying that, but don't get me wrong, there were like people there that like loved music and were like the most knowledgeable people now, and I'm still like best friends with some of those people, and they opened up my mind to like all other genres of music, and that's what I really enjoyed. Like I was like massively getting into like old reggae, old disco, like house and techno, like everything, and I started DJing that a bit as well. I started my own club night, which was pretty successful for a few years, called CYOA, and that was like across all genres basically. And it ran in Dalston and like other parts around here as well. So that was really good. And then I kind of wanted to do something that was like related to clubs, but I didn't want to carry on doing clubs my whole life. I was like coming to 30 years old. And that in 2013 is when I turned 30. And then my dad died in 2014. And that was a real moment when I was like, I'd be sat in my office at Universal. I had like a good. I don't want to say cushy, just in case anyone at Universal watches. But I was getting paid well. I had like a team of people working for me. I had my own office. So I could like listen to whatever music I wanted to all day long. But part of me was like thinking about how I would feel now, looking back on my life. Which is obviously something you do when someone like your dad dies in your life. And I remember just thinking like, I just don't feel like this is enough. Like if I look back on this and thought, this is what I achieved, it just didn't feel like enough. And so that really drove me on to like want to do something more for myself, where I could really clearly see the results of everything that I put in. Like when you're working at a major label, it's like, if you want to do something, it's like trying to turn like a battleship around in the ocean. Yeah. And it's just, it really like drove me down after a while. Like you just felt like you weren't really doing anything. You could just sit there week on week, and it didn't really feel like any of your ideas were coming to fruition. Or so after a while, I spoke to my sister, one of our friends, and we decided that we should open a bar. So that was like we opened the bar in January 2016.
Right.
So I left Universal like a couple of months before that. And it didn't really feel like a big deal, even though I've been there 9 years and I was like venturing off to do a very high risk project. Yeah. But it just felt right. I think like, you know, if you're going to do something big like that in your life, you just have a feeling deep down whether you know it's right or not. Even now, if I imagine myself like doing another business, it fills me with like sort of like fear and anxiety, thinking, fuck, I'll risk all that money, or I'd risk like changing my life that much. But when you want to do something, your body doesn't give you those reactions. You just know to do it. Yeah. So that's what we did, and it's called Highbury Library. It's just across the road, just over here, and it's been going well. Like we're right next to the Arsenal Stadium, so and I'm a big Arsenal fan. So we cater to that on match days, but we're not really like a football pub. We sort of more cater to the local area around here, which is quite like varied, which is nice. And we specialise in organic and natural wine, which I'm really into. I worked in wine before I met you, actually, I think. So that sort of passion's come back to me, and I'm just really enjoying it now, and enjoying my life.
Did you get into wine when you did your was it student exchange program when you were in France that time? That's still, you know what? That's still one of the funniest stories I ever heard in my life, man. But we're gonna save that for another, because I want to get more into on another show. I've got another platform that I'm doing. This is my hustle. We got another interview program on that, and on that I want to kind of get way more into the business side of things. Because I think that's not only is it interesting, I just think you've got a lot of knowledge. And a lot of knowledge to pass on, and it's so good to speak to people who have actually not only just building up but also been able to maintain. And obviously now you're adapting. We're seeing this lockdown is affecting everybody, but being in a position where you can actually adapt the business to still keep it afloat, I think is it's kind of genius. Well, it is definitely genius, because a lot of businesses are going under. A lot of
Thanks, man.
I guess a lot of businesses work only when people can be out using them. Like, it's so funny as well, because even with the clothing line is something I can do from home so easily, but it doesn't really work when no one's going out wearing new clothes. So it's like it only really works one way. But that is a hard one. It is, man. Going back a little bit, I just want to touch on, so working for Universal. Yeah. What did you learn being inside that you didn't know before, as far as how labels work and how artists should interact with labels, and what's the label's purpose?
I think well, it's difficult for me to talk specifically about artists, because I didn't have loads of direct contact with artists, because I was in like more of a business role. But I did actually have a meeting with Diddy and Jimmy Iovine, which I'll talk about in a minute. But it was more a business role. But in terms of like how labels internally operate, I would say that I remember like when we were growing up, everyone, you know, it was a big thing in hip hop about how labels were sort of like
the enemy, the devil.
Yeah. And like, I couldn't say that I saw them as being the devil, because I never saw like contract negotiation and stuff like that. But I was kind of surprised that the way people within the labels were more of like celebrity culture than they were with music culture. Yeah. And maybe that was naive, maybe that seems, but it just felt like everything was like hype and you know, like names and TV shows, what they've been on, and all this stuff, and that kind of shocked me a little bit, because I didn't respect it. Yeah, like people there respected whatever was going to sell, rather than like what was sort of a good like class to it or something. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you
like,
think
like high quality?
has that really changed though? Because I feel like this new era that I say this all the time. I never really feel like music is the most important part of being an artist. I still
No, definitely it hasn't changed. It's probably getting worse, but it was a bit of a revelation because I background sort of running our own label, basically, weren't we?
Yeah.
And ours was all about people what are really gonna like and respect. Then whatever, we'll sell this mix, just do it.
Yeah.
It just sounds like really obvious stuff that I'm saying, but I don't know. It was still a bit of like a shock to the system. And in terms with like hip hop as well, being at labels, I used to just feel like we'd work so like make hip hop a thing. So when you see people jumping on a bandwagon down the line, it was just the sort of people that would have dismissed you. That was pretty hard to tell and harsh. And I think it's how grime as well. You know, like all these Skepta fans pop out the woodwork suddenly, and you were probably the person a few years ago slating this thing. Yeah. So being around all the time was pretty demoralising as well.
Yeah, we're having some technical issues right now. I think it's the Wi-Fi, but we'll get through that. We see your comments, Mike Lee. Thank you for giving us that feedback. So tell me about this meeting.
Oh yeah, the meeting. Yeah, so I'd only been there maybe like 9 months. I was lucky enough that someone left when I was doing work experience, and I managed to get their job. And so about 6 months later, I was working on Beats by Dre headphones at the time.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because Universal, Jimmy Iovine co-founded Interscope, so Interscope's under the Universal umbrella. So Universal effectively owned, or maybe half of Beats by Dre. We were launching them in the UK. So we were working mainly with HMV at the time because they were seen as like the sort of most credible music shop.
Right.
And it was my role to sort of like roll out the sort of sales campaign behind it.
Okay.
And my boss, who was the director of sales at the time, he set up a meeting with like the head guys of HMV and Jimmy Iovine, who was coming into the country. He was going to sort of explain to HMV exactly what these headphones were, why they were so important, introduce them to the brand basically.
Okay.
And then my boss was like, "Oh yeah, and now Diddy's coming," and I was like, "What?" So and he says, "Yeah, I need you to come to the meeting as well." And I was pretty like blown away. How old would I have been at the time? Like 24 or something. Yeah, 24.
That's crazy.
Straight into this big label, and suddenly I'm being asked to come to a meeting with Diddy Iovine. So we go over to HMV. This is when their offices were on Wardour Street, and Diddy was there because he had the Diddy Beats headphones. I don't know if you remember them. They were like the first in-ear ones that Beats by Dre released. They're called Diddy Beats. And we got into the meeting, and Diddy walks in like a fur coat, even though it was like July. And he walked around the room and like very politely was like introducing himself and being really friendly and like a true gent. And then he sat down and started talking about his album, and it was like, do you remember the album Last Train to Paris?
Yeah. I didn't really.
It was kind of like a weird concept album that Diddy made, but his management were there as well, 2 girls I remember, and I'd already been in a couple of album playback meetings, where an artist comes into the building, plays you their album to the whole label, and the label sort of like give their reaction.
Yeah.
But this is the first time I would ever had one with a rapper, and American playback meetings are obviously very different to English playback meetings. Like in an English playback meeting, someone like can't think of an artist who I went to know. I remember Kid Cudi came in.
Okay.
But an English artist, all of the labels sort of just sit there in silence,
right? Like
not giving any reaction because I guess they feel so awkward. Like I don't know, but Americans don't really do that. So when they started playing the Last Train to Paris album in this meeting, the two managers both
Yeah.
stand up and just start dancing in this meeting room, and then you've got like 4 white old men from HMV just sat on the left, just
Like,
not knowing what to do. It was really awkward. And then, and at the end of the meeting, Jimmy Iovine said to my boss that that Lady Gaga was playing in Birmingham and he needed to get there.
Right.
And my boss said, well, yeah, like get a car. It'll take like 2 hours max. And he's like, what? I want a chopper. How do I get a chopper? And my boss was just like, sorry, I can't help you get a chopper. But that was just, it was very inspiring to be, especially like Jimmy Iovine.
Yeah.
I just watched that documentary. I know it's been out years, but I just watched it the other day. The one about him and Dre with the headphones. But yeah, it was kind of inspiring to be around him. He was so sort of like full on energy and constantly having ideas. And
Same.
yeah, it was good. It was a good moment.
I think it's like, I guess when you're around that energy, that kind of, I don't know, man, it's contagious, isn't it?
Yeah,
I guess
and it
it's the
shows you
culture.
like this is why things work. This is why things happen, because there's people like this making them happen.
Nah, man, it's deep, man. You've had like there's a few other things we could touch on, yeah, but we're kind of out of time. I know you got a hard out because you got a real job, yeah. Like,
yeah, I've got to go and do some deliveries now.
I mean, really out here, man. Really out here. But yeah, man, thanks for your time, man. And I'm gonna holler at you because there is, again, like I said, I'm really interested in the business side of things. I'm really interested in the transferable skills that you've taken, that you've learned in hip hop, in music, and that you've kind of taken to the brand that you have now.
Yeah.
Like it's a great thing to see. But
I would just say that just always try and do stuff that you love, because then good things happen. That's what I've always tried to do.
Yeah. It's been working, man. It's been working. It's been good. It's like I said, man. It's like it's a privilege to kind of just see you just do your thing. And like, I think like as I get older, I'm always kind of reaching back to just like my day ones. Like, and I always want to make sure everyone's good. And it's funny. Like I said, I wrote a song. What was it? Oh, it's Mike Lee, you'll probably know what song it was. I think it's called 5 AM in Watford. And I was saying, I can't remember what the bar was, but it was like, the owners are my brothers. Like, I'm out in the bar, the owners are my brothers. And I think I wrote that like literally after coming to see you. And it's just like, it's so good to just be in a situation where I'm around people that I grew up with that are just really doing well, and not just doing well actually, but just really doing well in themselves and
just enjoying their lives.
Yeah, man, it's a great thing to see, because it could have all gone so wrong on so many times on their motorway journeys with Amos kicking in the back seat and worse with fighting. Like we went through some crazy times to get to the places we are, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Big you up, man. Guys, I'm gonna put a link. Nah, man, come on, bro. Family, like for real, family. My daughter's godfather. She's in the other room, probably doing her makeup right now. But yeah, it's been an emotional journey, man. But yeah, thanks a lot, man, and we will talk very soon. Yeah, stay on the line. I'm gonna say goodbye to these lot, and I'll just chat to you.
Alright, cool.
Guys, thank you for staying on. I know we had some technical difficulties, but big yourselves up. Make sure you subscribe. Give me them comments, man. Keep them comments coming in. Let me know in the comments under this video, not in the live stream chat, but under the video. Let me know who you want me to talk to, who you want to see next. Like I said, right now everyone's at home, man. We can get whoever you want. So don't not Drake, not like stupid ones, you get me, but like people that we can really get hold of. So yeah, man. Peace and love, everybody. Stay safe. Stay indoors. Don't let the Roni catch you. Peace.